All right, welcome back. We're going to talk about the, I have an interview with Steve Adubato, who sat down with Governor Christie. We're going to bring you that in a minute, but I want to bring in our panel right now. Dominic Carter, of course, Andrew Whitman, Evan Stavisky, the guys joining us. You guys very politely sat in the green room. What'd you think? Because, listen, I try for whatever it's worth. People are guests that come on, but I believe that if you say something, you got to own it a little bit. And where I think he's gone, forgetting the politics on the Journal News issue, even though he and I agree that they, I think, went a step too far, I think he leapfrogged in terms of that line, not crossed it in terms of what he's done since. But anyway, what'd you guys think, Evan?
Look, I think you and Senator Ball are both right about the Journal News. You know, in case of first impression, you might think, well, the newspaper has a right to print what it wants to print. It's public information. But, you know, I've talked to law enforcement actually in Rockland County. The sheriff explained to me their corrections officers have been threatened. There certainly are undercover police who are on those lists, victims of domestic violence. So it's a really troubling thing. However, pointing out the one bad thing that's happened does not actually excuse the indefensible, which is in the aftermath of all these tragedies. Being unwilling to support common sense gun regulation just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Even the discussion about armor-piercing bullets, you know, it's mystifying.
I threw that one, Andrew, as a softball. I really think in the same end, if you're going to be talking about wanting to look out for cops and cop safety, to then turn around and say that you don't want to keep armor-piercing bullets off the shelves, whose only intent is to literally go through body armor for law enforcement, okay.
Well, I mean, you know where I stand on these issues. You know where Senator Ball stands, so I don't want to debate the points. But there certainly has been no lack of hyperbolic reaction, especially from the right, especially from gun advocates. And Senator Ball, I think we could fairly say, has engaged in more than his fair share. I was happy to see that he didn't back down from that while he was here. He certainly kept that going.
You know, Dom, right, left, Democrat, Republican, okay, they come in all shapes and sizes. And they all got to get elected, and they all got to raise money. But where I took issue, and maybe too vocally some may say, but where I took issue was you're still one of only so many senators or only so many assemblymen. And there's a way that you do or don't conduct yourself. You don't cry fire in a crowded theater, and you also, in this particular case, you don't lower the conversation. You don't have to make it about, you know, use 20-syllable words, but you don't have to eggheads anybody who's, you know what I mean? And that's why people don't like politicians. It's not that they don't like because they can't. It's because when you go for the cheap buck or where you go for the cheap line, that's our problem. And it's not just Albany, it's Washington, it's every state government. And I guess that's in an inartful way where I really had the issue.
Well, the one thing I can't say, the stakes are very high
for
all parties involved. This is not a game. You know that Andrew and I believe he still fully supports it. We supported the Journals. You disagreed.
Yeah.
It's ironic that you and the senator agree on this issue. You felt that they should not have done it. You were quite vocal in stating that. I felt they had every right to publish a public record. I can understand what some law enforcement officers are saying. So there's always give and take on every issue. But these are real issues. There are real lives at stake. And when you're referring to people, eggheads, whatever, these journalists that are writing these stories that have to go home in the middle of the night by themselves, and all it takes is, you know, it reminds me of my good friend Bob Grant, all it takes is one nut job.
Yep.
One nut job, and something very bad can happen.
And nobody should be egging that kind of stuff on. All right, we take a break, and we come back. We'll talk about Governor Christie. Stay with us. You'll hear him like you never heard him before.